James Gilliland. Earth change, solar storms, podcaster wars, vax news, end of Cabal. All right, been a rough week for everyone it seems. These solar storms, CMEs, and flares are wreaking havoc on our bioelectric fields. Lots of pains, aches, changes, hard decisions having to be made. It is always rough at ASETI between seasons getting through financially until we open again in May. ASETI Hawaii is on hold due to not yet having the facilities to do workshops or classes yet. Then the storm cleanup and repairs of winter damage, clearing out downed trees, etc. As I was writing this line, I just got a call from the ranch and there was a devastating storm, high winds, 170 miles an hour in some areas, lots of huge trees down. The power lines were snapped in several places on the ranch. Sounds like weather warfare or the effect of solar storms, could be both. The flooding came right up to the doors of the buildings, then miraculously stopped. Those at the ranch felt like a galactic war was going on. There were strange lights everywhere, and a deep, loud groan was heard. These are not normal storms. We are down to a skeleton crew due to finances. Hopefully summer volunteers will come and help clean up the damage. The power companies looked at the damage and said, "Did you piss off God?" Actually, my life work has pissed off everything other than God. Despite all the damage, none of the structures were damaged seriously and no one was hurt, which seems to show a level of protection. A major storm hit ASETI Hawaii last year. No damage, although a lot of damage sustained by neighbors. We could not even find a broken branch. Here are pictures from Washington. Show Washington devastation videos. Facebook.com. The Juan de Fuca plate is on the move along with the axial seamount with a 3.5 quake. Made quite a few redundant warnings about that area. The coast from California to Washington is unstable with an intense buildup of pressure due to solar activity. On a different topic, I wonder why humanity funds, in the millions, organizations that continue to promote external, jealous, wrathful external gods, make heroes, and give their power away to character-challenged people and do the bidding of governments and religions. Both historically have obviously not been working for them or in their highest and best good. I also wonder why they allow governments and religions to kill their messiahs. Then, for a few shekels, some will try to character, in some cases, physically assassinate people who speak up and stand up for truth. It seems we are in a podcaster war between the morally and integrity corrupt and those who have the courage to question the narrative and demand answers. The big money is behind the morally and integrity corrupt. This brings us to Candace Owens, a few veterans and other podcasters questioning the official narrative that have the majority of the people behind them, polls showing 70% on up. I know I said I was not going to cover this, but it is hard to watch someone like Candace, who is a godsend, be maligned and attacked just for asking questions. The protective mail gets activated. Something missing with a few podcasters on the attack who believe in censorship. According to them, and their donors, we can't ask questions. Maybe we should check out just who their donors are. Might be a 6-pointed star on the check. People still have a lot of unanswered questions concerning Charlie Kirk, me being one of them. The official narrative is just not believable. It seems Charlie's family, friends, and his organization would be on the side of getting answers to so many unanswered questions and illogical conclusions. Many push the official narrative. Case closed, let's move on business as usual. Emphasis on business. There have been so many lies, deceptions, uninvestigated leads, and strange behavior. The security detail was a total fail concerning protection with the obvious question, why were the roofs not secured? The answer given so far bears no personal responsibility. Security 101 demands securing the rooftops, both of which were ignored during the Trump attempted assassination and Charlie's assassination. Did we not learn anything from the Trump attempt? Like, wow, maybe we should clear the roofs. Put up a sniper up just in case, or an officer on the roof. Seems it would be standard with any law enforcement. Anyone with a critical thinking would question the lone gunman's story, why he had unfettered access to the roof, and anyone who ever shot a deer rifle knows the effects of a .30-06, the mess it makes, and the difficulty in making that shot. Not to mention, he left the screwdriver on the roof, then reassembled the rifle on the fly, while at the same time had it stuck down his pant leg while sprinting across the roof, jumping off, sprinting across the lawn. Then the FBI shows up after the K-9 unit swept the area where the gun was found, and presto, there it is neatly wrapped and assembled. Dogs do not miss fired guns. Then there was the second gunman spotted on the roof in tactical gear no one can account for or wants to investigate. The entire event looked orchestrated, or at least an unbelievable fail in security concerning all agencies involved. If you factor in the letter sent to Netanyahu, the real letter where Chaley states clearly he cannot stand behind the genocide in Gaza as any good Christian, his podcasts right before he was killed, where he made it very clear he will not support the genocide or the bullying of Jewish donors who allegedly pulled $150 million in funding due to Tucker Carlson's appearance and ties with Candace. Then the $150 million allegedly was reinstated after his death, and the leader of Israel is the first major political person go public saying Chaley was 100% pro-Israel, when clearly in Charlie's own words, podcasts, and texts, he was not. In fact, Charlie levied against the war with Iran with President Trump. Why would anyone not have questions? This is not anti-Semite, this is common sense and factual. The organization has allegedly pulled in over $140 million after his death, much of that in memorial gear. In every murder investigation there are two rules. Follow the money and investigate the spouse. Why is this being completely ignored? The character of spokespeople for Turning Point also has a lot to be desired. Their attacks and games with Candace don't seem to fit Christian principles. Character assassinations of other podcasters asking questions are casting a very dark shadow on the company, along with insider stories. Why not just answer the questions? Allegedly, the NCI system developed by a behavioral expert designed to identify potential psychological operations, PSYOPs, did a profile of Kirk's widow and said she falls into the over 80% PSYOP category with a 1/2600th chance of it not being a PSYOP. Wearing the Jewish symbol for all to see during interviews is also telling. The only side I am taking is the side of truth. I don't have a dog in this fight or any vested interest. If new facts dispel any rumors or assumptions, I will be the first to acknowledge them. I do have a major concern over taking out prophets and messiahs, then everyone forgets and goes back to business as usual. A historical pattern. Not claiming to be one, but we have had our share of attacks. The good news is over 70% of the people feel the same way and have many of the same and more unanswered questions. The next topic that has gotten us banned and deplatformed is the bursy knee. Act like you're giving a shot. Dr. Michael Yearden, former head of Pfizer's vaccine program, just revealed to the world evidence that proves the COVID mRNA vaccine is a deliberate, premeditated sterilization and depopulation weapon that has killed over 30 million people worldwide. It will continue to create devastation for generations. He warned humanity must go on the attack before they release their next bioweapon attack. There are methods of detoxing, getting these bioweapons out of your system. Most links are on our website. The same government that sponsored and allowed the vaccines as a matter of integrity should make available the cure. Trump has formally designated the COVID vaccine as a weapon of mass destruction, claiming 200 to 300,000 people die every year that we know of. Let's see what happens with Pfizer and Moderna. So the conspiracy theories were right, and there was never a need to shadow ban and demonetize our shows and newsletters. Here is what JFK Jr. has to say. Play RFK and the Dr. McCullough video that says what the mRNA does to the body, altering DNA. RFK, Instagram.com, Dr. McCullough, Instagram.com. According to AMG, Operation Skywatch has been ignited. Trump and RFK Jr. launched a global crackdown on chemtrails. Arrests imminent. This is Nuremberg 2.0, and it is happening now. If this is true, what we have been saying is, it is not your government as long as the chemtrails are still happening. This just might be the end of the shadow government global elite. This paves the way for Gazara, the quantum financial system, and the redemption of bonds and other foreign currency. We will see. From now through January, there are going to be major Earth changes and chaos. The Bulgarian government has fallen. Just a few days after mass non-compliance, the government of Bulgaria has resigned. England farmers have brought their tractors and took siege of government buildings. There are massive demonstrations all over Europe, including Israel, against the current government, and Iran, which ran out of water due to corrupt government policies. The whole world is against rolling out digital IDs and total surveillance programs, including informed Americans. Other global elite shadow government actions, like the flooding of countries with illegal aliens, creating a cultural wars, forced vaccinations, and the loss of personal freedoms, all are experiencing extreme resistance. The Muslim Brotherhood is claiming their dismantling of America is well underway. They have 43 state delegates and enough people to vote Muslims in for a total takeover of Congress. The Quran has over 160 calls for violence, demands a jihad against non-believers, supports the marriage of 6-year-olds to old men, which falls under pedophilia and the subjugation of women. Might want to avoid this one. Do a little research concerning the origins of their religion. It is not a peaceful one. God Logic is a good site to check out. Not sure if this is true, but allegedly the Senator Kennedy Act, Born in America Act, was passed 51-49. This would solve that problem. Let's play that video. Video of Born in America Act, Facebook.com. Video of Trump getting rid of lawmakers, Facebook.com, Sorensen. All I can say is Christmas is coming early. The tyrants, the international shadow government, is being exposed, falling, and eventually we will all have our freedom back. It is starting to get biblical, folks. There are prophecies of the rivers running red, some drying up, others coming back to life. The red water flowing into the sea. Video Facebook.com. Mount Olives is splitting in half, fulfilling a prophecy about the return of Jesus. I've always seen it as the return of Christ consciousness in the individual. Those who rose to the occasion and lived according to universal law. Universal peace, brother-sisterly love, individual freedom, and prosperity for all will receive the blessing. Basically, you just have to be a good person, forgive yourself and others. Africa is also splitting in two. Volcanoes, quakes, disastrous storms are unfolding everywhere. Solar storms, CMEs, the Schumann resonance is off the scale. There are indicators pointing to a major quake very soon, possible before this show airs. Plasma fields are surrounding the Earth and the different layers are totally energized. Expect more plasma balls appearing, some of which are higher intelligences, light and energy ships. 3. iAtlas is sending off projectiles. It turned from red to blue, then green, now it is gold. It is coming closest to Earth by the time this podcast airs. The International Planetary Protection has been activated. I really hope they don't launch a nuke or laser at 3 iAtlas concerning what it is capable of. It's a real bad idea. They are just observers, and if we attack them, piss them off, it might not fare well for Earth. How about a little common sense and patience? UFOs in the past have proven to be able to disarm, shut down, or make our best technology just disappear. A rethink might be in order. Maybe make friends with the benevolent ones in the interest of national security. Ask for protection. They hear our prayers, yet are limited to how much they can intervene without our permission. We have been in contact for over 40 years with benevolent off-world visitors. We knew all about 3-Eye Atlas from the day it was spotted. As we have said, they are very advanced beings, have AI, nanotech that can disassemble, reassemble, and repair itself. They are ambivalent, do not want to get involved with Earth due to our aggressive warlike behavior, our inability to solve our differences without aggression, unify and act according to universal law. They have communicated this to officials. They are mainly here as observers of a major event that is now unfolding. The revelation, the awakening and healing of humanity, and the Earth, what some call ascension. The rise of those who desire to live a spiritual life in harmony with each other and nature, along with the fall of those who are not frequency-specific to a natural preordained process. It is and always has been about frequency. The frequencies are rising, and those who are not frequency-specific to the Earth and her ascension will not make the shift. Love, joy, bliss, and service to others are the highest frequencies. We all know what to do. Heal and release the past, forgive and rise to the occasion. Divert our energies and assets to the awakening and healing of humanity and the Earth. Step away from all the drama, chaos, and hype. Get out in nature, and by all means buy my new book, The Awakening of James. It has everything you need to know along with the tools to clear, create sacred space, heal, and ascend. All proceeds go to the Lahar Foundation. This will help these shows and the ranch to continue in service to humanity, the Earth, the greater family of man-woman throughout the multiverse, and the beautiful many masters, saints, and sages. The days of tyranny are coming to a close. They and their empires are unsustainable. As we have seen in other countries, all the people need to do is not participate and demand new leadership. Those that adhere to universal law in service to the people. What a novel idea. Seems like what God/Creator/Great Spirit would want of us. Any donations to help Asiti clean up the storm damage and continue to awaken and empower the people will be greatly appreciated and put to good use with integrity. No jets, multi-million-dollar mansions, yachts, or lavish lifestyles. We are a SS ministry with an EIN number. Donations are deductible. If you are financial stressed, do not donate. Take care of yourself and family first. Have an awesome Christmas. Make peace with your families. We don't have to always be right. It is amazing how allowing people to have their truth is disarming. I would just say we will see what in True in Your Light review. Christ consciousness is flooding the planet. Time to be a part of it. What is so bad about being kind and loving, helping those less fortunate, giving people some hope? In Aseti tradition, drop a turkey off and a few frog skins to the Native Americans. Make it organic. Night, help us get the message out and keep the Asiti Stargate shows and centers going. Any donations are greatly appreciated. Imagine if enough people did clearings on a regular basis and initiated help from on high, cleaning up these dark realms and entities. Permission given to share this far and wide. Godspeed, James Gilliland, Asiti.org, bebisradio.com, www.exitastargaterumble, asitastargate.tv.